how do you go from the idea stage to the actual execution to the final video? Can you take me through like a full process of like we're talking about some crazy wild ideas today. How do you go from that to a final video where you click publish?
Well, I mean, obviously, first things first, you got to figure out the idea, and then it just depends. I mean, pick any video you can think of on my channel. I can take you through it.
Well, what about in a circle? You have to stay in a circle for 100 days.
Yeah. So for that one, step one,
one of the most popular.
Yeah, that video did really well.
Yeah.
So problem is, we have to. This is where you get really into the nuances of the company because we have a lot of videos going out. You can't just in a vacuum be like, all right, we're not doing anything for 100 days. And we're only filming this. Mm-hmm. So step one is we had to build an independent crew that could actually do that for 100 days. That way everyone else could keep working on the normal videos and not just screw everything up.
Yeah.
So step one, you build that team. Okay, we got the team. Now what do we need? Well, to do this, we need probably like 10 cameras at least rolling at all times. So we're probably going to need to get a trailer and hook up a bunch of storage and stuff to just carry the sheer volume of footage we're going to have. And so get a trailer, set up the cameras, go out in the field, paint a circle. Now we need a house, go buy a house, bring it out there. And then it's like, oh, wait, I think it'd be funny if I brought the house in on the intro. Find a crane that can lift up a house so I can drive it in and drop it in the intro.
And that's like an iterative process where you're like, okay, this would be funnier. So it's just not all up front that it's written.
Yeah,
it's like
ideally it would be, but as you kind of see things, you get inspired and then you think of more and more. And then
this would be better with a crane.
Yeah, it'd be better if I dropped out of the house.
Drop it. Yeah, that was crazy that you decided to do that. So fearless in the kind of crazy stuff you're willing to do.
Exactly. I'm a broken record, but whatever makes the best video possible.
Yeah.
That's all you focus on.
Okay. So what about the delegation of like what are the cameramen, like the people operating the cameras, who's responsible for different things? Is it like a distributed process? Or like
that's where whoever the lead cam would be on that video would just decide it. That one, because we shot over 100 days, a lot of it was just Sean and the guy who was in the circle just vlogging. We just gave him a camera and he figured it out. And then we'd have like for him just set hours each day that a cameraman would come. So if he had any content he needed extra hands, instead of just having someone on standby 24/7, it made more sense to do set hours.
Nice.
It was hard, but explaining it in hindsight, it sounds so simple,
And I guess like the more. Because that one is relatively simple, I guess, because it's a low number of people.
Yeah, the hard part about that is just the time. Right. Like, I checked in on them so many different days, and it's like an hour here, 2 hours there, 3 hours there. Over 100 days adds up to be a ton of time. And even then, like, if you have a 10-person crew, paying them daily rates for 100 days, it just all of it adds up.
What about like the 100 versus 100 adults versus 100 kids? What was bringing that to life? That seems like exceptionally challenging.
Yeah. Basically, the thought process was we did 100 100 boys versus 100 girls.
Yeah.
People loved it. Honestly, I didn't think they'd like it as much as they did. Video did really, really well. So the second I saw that video was crushing, I was like, all right, we're doing it again. But last time we did in our studio. So we built a giant room, put 100 girls in it. It sounds bad when I explain it like this. And then a giant room, put 100 boys. Yeah. And we're like, after 100 hours, whichever room has the most people, we'll give them $500,000. So did well. So we're like, all right, we're going to do it again. So we threw out all these different ideas. It was like 100 football players versus 100 cheerleaders, 100 this, 100 that, 100 prisoners versus 100 cops. Just craziest ideas. And we settled on 100 kids versus 100 adults. And then the next step was like, how do we make it better? The kids versus adults, the boys versus girls, the first one we did was inside. And the problem was every time it was night when we did these long time lapses, you couldn't see the sun go up and down. So we're like, okay, this time I want to do it outside. That's why the cubes are outside. And instead of doing circles, we want to make them cubes. And then, is figuring out, do we want just
those videos came up at least today as ones that are like really complicated in terms of the audio, in terms of how to film it.
Yeah, that's the problem. We had a lot of audio issues because in the first one we didn't have a roof on it. The second one there was a roof, so there's a lot of reverb, which then in editing made it brutal. Like half the shots weren't usable, and it really screwed us over. So we had to do a lot of Frankensteining in the editing to make up for basically my ignorance.